Folks, welcome in to SportsBookReview.com. It's Wednesday. You know what? Time to talk a little bit of Major League Baseball right here on SportsBookReview.com. I'm Donnie Seymour. He's Jason Radowitz, and also with Kyle Purviance. 2 games in action already today. A full card tonight. Still waiting on one pitching matchup here between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Miami Marlins, but we are ready to get it off and get started. Last night for me, quickly, play of the day, finally comes home, but I was so angry watching the Cubs game that I couldn't even enjoy the Twins game until it actually cashed in, because the fact that they couldn't hit their team total of 4.5 for some value menu wager action on me really got me upset. But that's neither here nor there. We're ready to get after it in Major League Baseball. Jason, I'm going to start with you first here. 2 games in the afternoon. Did you wager anything on these first 2 games?
I've got nothing on these 2 games. I did like the Twins in the first 5. Not looking too great right now. It was obviously just a lean. Didn't put any money on that. And right now the Orioles are up 1-0 in the 5th inning. Just 4 hits on the day combined for both teams. So not too much offense compared to yesterday, where we had a lot of offense in that game. Probably just a little early for these 2 teams, and they're just not hitting the ball today. So I'm not looking at any overs, even with the Twins bullpen not being so good this year.
You know, it's interesting, Jason, too, looking at these day games. Do you have a different feel? I always have a different feel on day games and night games. Like, even if everything profiles right, pitcher, batting lineup, it's always a grain of salt. Now, it could be the handicapper in me that says, I don't want to play this game because I don't want to lose a game at 1 o'clock. Then I'll be pissed off at night.
Exactly.
Like, do you ever have that feeling, though?
Yeah, it's just that your heart can only take so much sometimes, right? It's like, okay, let me start this at like 5 or 6 tonight. I don't need to start this bullshit at 8 a.m., you know? I'm on the West Coast. For me, it's like, damn, this game's at 6 a.m. today. But anyway, sorry, I jumped in there. But I kind of did. I did have a little sprinkle on the White Sox first 5 innings. I like them against Gant today, even though I usually prefer them against lefties. I thought Rodon could. So we'll see. Right now it looks okay. We got runners on first and second. I don't know how many outs we had. 1 out.
1 out, yeah.
So yeah, maybe that.
Nobody doing not much in either of these games. As we said, the Orioles up 1-0, solo home run. That's all we got. Over is now sitting at 4.5 at FanDuel, -150 for the game as we sit in the 5th inning. And again, when you have a close game, 1-1s turn into 2-2s, turn into you can cash that in. But what I've been doing myself is waiting for guys to get on base, which is actually hurting me a little bit here, because watching some of these teams with their solo home runs and you never get a chance to get involved, and also the maturation of the line process now with FanDuel, they're getting a little bit smarter late in innings, which is making me upset, because I know a lot of you guys follow me on Twitter, like, where's the live action plays at? I'm waiting for perfect instances that are showing up, but sometimes I'm not getting any lines anymore where it's like, hey, we're going to jump on this play. It doesn't make any sense. So keep an eye on a few things like that. If anything does happen in these 2 early games, we'll certainly keep you posted, but it looks like nobody scored there in St. Louis and the White Sox as they head to the bottom, or excuse me, I guess the top of the 2nd inning. And then Pineda here looking like a Cy Young Award winner all of a sudden, matching up here against the Orioles. So not a lot going on in those 2 games. But why don't we get to the card here, pick some marquee games out, and then flip it around, see if we can find some access here. Let's get to it. 9:05, 9:06, Cincinnati and Washington. The reason why I brought this game up, I think we might be able to get some runs here. 9.5, Jason, across the board. Opening numbers. Now we're sitting at 10s across the board. Slight favorite to Washington at Pinnacle, which opened up at -125, now sits at -138. New Jersey here with FanDuel as high as 146. I don't expect a great pitching matchup here. Just a matter if the bats come to play in this one. 7:05 first pitch, Jason.
Yeah, exactly right. Over 9.5 seems like the play in this game, and maybe even go the first 5 and just take the over 5.5 in this game instead, because we do know the Nationals have the better bullpen and can really hold it down if they need to with the lead. But yeah, Ross getting smacked by lefties this season. 402 weighted OBA, ISO 224. Also ISO kind of high to the lefties at 209. Walks are 15.5% against lefties as well, so really not too great there. Then on Hoffman's side, who's all starting for the Reds, 338 weighted OBA to lefties, 327 weighted OBA to righties. ISO much higher to righties as well. So you have, for the Nationals, you have Turner, Soto, Bell, Schwarber. Really, any of these guys can do damage. On the other hand, you have Winker, Naquin, Castellanos, the big bats in the lineup for the Reds. There's a lot of potential in both these lineups, but I would be a little more careful with the Nationals. Their bullpen could be a little bit better than the Reds, so I think the Nationals end up winning this game and could hold it down late in the game. So I would look at maybe over 5.5 in the first 5, which I don't normally recommend, but I do think that if runs will happen, they'll happen earlier in this game. And I would look at the Nationals to win the game outright.
We might get a bullpen game as well, Kyle. Taking a look at the weather conditions here. 86 degrees with the wind blowing out, which is fantastic. But you are going to have some precipitation issues throughout the night, which can be a good thing because if you're taking a look at not great starting pitchers, not great bullpens overall, you might be looking at an extended layoff here. When usually when you see like the game just a few nights ago with the Minnesota Twins, not much going on. They scored like 7 or 8 runs right after the rain delay in the Orioles-Twins game. So something like that could take place here. When I look at the lineups here and I look at the starting pitchers, they're both side by side to me. Hoffman and Ross, not really that great. XFIP minus numbers for both of them. If we take a look, 117 for Hoffman and Ross out of 121. Let's take a look at the XFIP numbers overall, 4.89 and 4.70. Even the Sierra numbers, Kyle, match up well, 4.87 to 4.74. I'm not looking for good pitching in this one, but here's the issue. This ain't 8.5. This is 10.
Exactly. So I'm not messing with that, and you guys touched on it beautifully. If you're betting the Cincinnati Reds, you can only do it 2 ways. You cannot bet the Reds full game. Are they going to win games? Of course they are. But you do not want to be backing the Reds up 6-4 in the 7th inning with their bullpen coming in. You just don't want to do it. It's heartbreaking. That's bottom line, plain and simple. So if you're betting the Reds, you're betting their team total, or you're betting them in the first 5 innings. I do like the team total over 4.5. Let me see the updated number since so I'm not making up the numbers. Over 4.5 minus 120. When I look at the lineup for the Reds, they profile really, really well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hitters over the last 3 years have a 36% advantage or better. I do have Suarez on my potential home run list. He has had 9 career at-bats against Ross for what it's worth and has not even had a single hit. So he's 0 for 9 lifetime. You could say, okay, maybe he can't hit this guy or maybe he's due. Both trains of thought have won me money in the past, of course. So I'll put Suarez on that little home run list. I think the Reds can get to the team total. And if you want to bet the Reds money line in the first 5 at plus 120, I don't think you're crazy because, again, it's pretty 50-50. Both teams should be able to hit. Don't anticipate great pitching here. So if I like the Reds lineup just a little bit more, which I do, although, Soto and Turner, etc., profile just fine for Washington, I'll take that plus money in the first 5 innings and a little sprinkle on that team total for the Reds at over 4.5.
Yeah, not loving the, conditions, so to speak, tonight, but it shouldn't be bad. 86 degrees at first pitch, which is really heat and humidity boiling in there. Maybe one of those spots that you look to take a team total. If it's depressed, maybe it's only a 2-1 game in the 5th inning, and you can pick up on the 3s and the 2.5s at that point, because I do think they will score in this game and probably score late as well. Keep it moving here, 9:19, 9:20, 7:05 here in the Bronx. Toronto and the New York Yankees. The reason why I picked this game to put it up on the marquee, because it's always an interesting thought process of what goes into handicappers when you try to cap a young kid coming up and making a major league debut or not many innings in Major League Baseball. Manoah on the mound for Toronto versus Herman. 141 to 142 across the board. 9.5s still showing up here in the Bronx, Jason.
Yeah, like you said, Manoah, it's his first start in the MLB. It's a highly anticipated one. He's one of the top prospects of the Blue Jays, just like Nate Pearson was last year. In spring training, he did face the Yankees, and he looked really good. Does have a really strong fastball, and I know he has a good slider as well. So, he should have good stuff. He already faced the Yankees in spring training. Not that that's saying much, but he did do well against them in spring training. Looking at the Blue Jays here, I'm seeing plus 140. Obviously, more talent on the Blue Jays side when you're looking at the offense and the pitcher. Obviously, the bullpen could implode. So you might want to look at the first 5, but I do think there's value at the Blue Jays at plus 140 with Manoah on the mound, who's obviously has a lot of talent.
Yeah, taking a look at this game, paging George Springer. If you want to play this year, let us know, buddy, because that Toronto lineup would be ferocious with you. He's never in there, but seemingly, Vladdy Jr. having an amazing year. He'll be estimated again in the 3-hole tonight. 380 ISO power number, weighted on base average, 478 versus righties this year with Herman on the mound. You take a look at the New York Yankees, DJ LeMahieu, usually the most reliable guy in that lineup out of the leadoff position on paternity leave, so he's not going to be in this lineup. I don't like what I see out of the New York lineup here. I just trust Toronto more, Kyle.
Yeah, this game's really tough for me. So for me personally, I'm completely passing on this game. And I pretty much am starting to treat the Yankees like I do the Cubs. Like I only bet them in live spots when it looks like they're not going to do anything, and I just take that free roll 1.5. That's the only way I really bet them. Now I will say this: I'm very nervous to take. I know the kid's talented. I know he's a highly touted prospect, but you're coming into the big leagues here, and you're going against the Yankees on the road at Yankee. I don't know about that. So I know that's not super high number analysis here, but the lineup does profile just fine. I actually have I have about 6 or 7 guys that I put on a little home run list every day. I have Aaron Judge on that list. The Yankees are minus 0.5 in the first 5 at plus 105. Herman has been very, very good his last 3 starts, by the way. He's been pitching really, really well. And it's not unlike Toronto to just lay a dud when they should. And it's not like Herman is some, can out there.
He's good. He's good.
He's good. Yeah. So I think I'll take that plus money on the Yankees minus 0.5 in the first 5.
It's interesting because you look at Herman's numbers here. He's got an xFIP minus number of 94, which is good. It's above average. ERA 3.05, xFIP 3.87, Sierra 3.70. Now, I maybe have to give me a test here and see if I have any issues, but call me crazy for digging the under 9.5. You got a young pitcher who's highly celebrated. You don't have that many at-bats on him, so maybe you lean on more of the bullpen. If he gets in trouble early in the 4th or 5th inning, you pull him and get right to a better matchup. But again, looking at the other side, Herman's not a bad pitcher. It's not like you're just throwing some scrub out here and getting a full bullpen day. Both of these teams do have decent bullpens. I'm feeling the under 9.5. Call me crazy, guys.
Yeah. What about the sneaky nerfy spot in this? Maybe the young kid comes out his first inning, just throws darts out there. Herman's been good. Toronto struggled, maybe a sneaky nerfy spot.
Could be. How about this one coming up tonight? I like this spot tonight a lot. 927, 928, Smiley, who's been lit up all year as a lefty, just horrible, even, whether it's ERA numbers, whether it's xFIP numbers, going up to Boston against Nick Pivetta. And I have to say preface this game by saying, Jason, the Atlanta lineup tonight looks sensational. Now, I know their lineup just came out, so I'm going to try to cross-reference it to back with what I was looking at earlier today with the projected lineup. But Pivetta has decent numbers. But I just think that Atlanta Braves lineup is ready to break out tonight. If we take a look at the game itself, and I guess everybody's on the same page with me as well. Pinnacle opens up at 9.5, shoots it right up to 10.5, as well as FanDuel sits at 10.5. And you do have a favorite, minus 136, anywhere between minus 150, as a favorite towards Boston. I can't back. This is the reason why I barely even take a look at sides. There's no way in hell, even though I like the Atlanta lineup, I can back Smiley. The guy is the disaster. No. But you also look at Pivetta on the other side. But why not just isolate like a total or a team total in this game? Both lineups look good, but Atlanta's, to me, Jason, just looks a notch better tonight.
So Atlanta, they're going to have a lot of righties in the lineup, I'm assuming. I know it just came out, so you can correct me if I'm wrong there. In the last 30 days, we're going to talk about Pivetta against righties, 206 weighted OBA, ISO 0.063. He's been killed by lefties, and you got Freeman in there. That's basically it for the Braves.
You got 4 of them tonight.
Albies
and Freeman. So you got 4 of them. Yeah.
So Albies, he's been okay against righties in the last 30 days as well. But look, so most of the power is going to come from the right-handed side for the Braves, and Pavetta's been a lot better in that direction. Then you look at the Red Sox in their last month or so against lefties. They've been terrible against lefties. The Red Sox offense has been, outside of Dalbec, there's really nothing there. Maybe Bogarts has done a little bit of something, but Verdugo struggled, Martinez has struggled, Devers has struggled all against lefties, against Smiley. So look, against righties, Smiley's allowing a 377 weighted OBA in the last 30 days, but against lefties, just a 260, ISO of 0.095. So this might be more of a sneaky under 10.5 play. I know it went from 9.5 to 10.5. I think that there's a way both these pitchers can get through damage. Obviously, not much offense last night when I think we expected a little bit more offense than we got yesterday. So I would say sneaky 10.5, but I understand why you look at the over as well from a bigger picture.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything you said when you started talking unders here, Jason. So I apologize.
That's official for Jason, by the way. That's that is an official. 20 units on best
bet. Game of the year, Jason. Right now, just been under in the
700 units.
That's it. I love that.
Get it all back in one fair shot. But by the way, Kyle, taking a look here, because I know you like to look at 3-year breakdowns, which again makes sense. A lot of people look at different things to make it comfortable as opposed to what is here and now. We're looking at just this year. That Atlanta lineup looks sensational versus righties. But if you go to 2019, 20, and 21 and combine them and just look at the Boston lineup that's anticipated for tonight, they should smoke Smiley. So it's a fun game to try if you're a DFS backer or whatever. You're in Boston. These two teams technically should hit. Two pitchers that can be had. What are you looking at tonight here in this game?
Yeah, this one's interesting, and I'm really glad that you said it that way, because I was just thinking I kind of use the cheat code. So I love to look at these 3-year big sample sizes, and you guys do a great job of breaking down so I just kind of wait for, I tell them, make sure I go last, right? So I can get all of this season stuff, then square it with what I'm seeing over 3 years real quick, Rain Man style, boop, 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 and get going. I'm going to get the hand raised on me for sure on this one. So, that's definitely coming.
I don't even need it on the screen. Here, look.
So this one was really tough for me because actually both pitchers, these are two of the bigger sample sizes on the slate, as a matter of fact, just how they've done against the opposing lineup. Boston's only 6 of 36 lifetime against Smiley, smaller sample size. The biggest sample size is actually Atlanta against Pivetta. Of course, that isn't surprising from his days with the Phillies, right? 29 of 128, a 227 average. You're like, oh, okay. You got a weighted OPS of 815 over those 3 years. Oh, okay, so he's not that bad. Then you look at his last 5 starts, his fantasy points. 14, -6, -17. -17. That's like 8 runs in the first inning and 33. Okay, so we got a wide range of outcomes here. So that tells me, that scares me to death. I do think both teams can tee off on these hitters. But anytime I see a 6 for a total in the first 5 innings, I don't care how bad the pitchers are. That's tough for me to swallow. So I'm going to go, Jason. I'm going to lean the under 6 in the first 5 innings. I do think the Red Sox hit Smiley better than the Braves hit Pivetta. They're also -0.5 at +100. I see like a 2-1, 3-1 score for Boston in the first 5 innings. Under 6, -115 in the first 5, and give me Boston -0.5 +100 in the first 5 innings.
Interesting weather, though, because it looks like you might start to get some rain around the 9 o'clock hour. But before that, you're talking about 85 degrees at first pitch, winds blowing out at 16 miles an hour. So it could get interesting early. But then again, we had winds blowing out yesterday. Did you see what the final score up in Boston was? Nowhere near either your team total or either side or the actual game total itself. But I do think those bats, to me, bounce back today. Why don't we flip it down, get some value menu wagers? Yesterday, I took home the filet mignon and loved every bit of it. But the fact that the Tampa Bay Rays stunk, I should have known better than that. But the Cubs should have gotten their number. 4 runs by the 5th inning, multiple chances. And even in the 9th inning yesterday, you had a leadoff double against Kimbrel, a man on third with 1 out, and just some dude up who's hitting 125 that got smoked. So Adam Frazier then comes up and can't get the run home. That would have sent it to extra innings, which would have cashed in that ticket. But neither here nor there. Let's get some value in the card tonight. 3 plays I actually like tonight, just short of making them play of the day. I like the Texas team total tonight. It's 4 at -120 sitting at FanDuel, 3.5 -140 sitting at BetMGM. I also like the Atlanta Braves team total, which at both places showing 4.5 at FanDuel and also 4.5 at BetMGM. I think they can get the 5 runs tonight. And then late night, if you're looking to pay a little bit of money and get a better price, how about BetMGM? 3.5 -160 on those Dodgers on the road, getting a full 9 at bats to get 4 runs tonight. I like that a little bit as well. Those are my 3 I think have value. Jason, I'm going to go with you next. What are we looking at tonight on some fast food wagers?
So I'm looking at this Indians and Tigers game, and Tristan McKenzie on the mound, and he's a guy that I know Kyle absolutely hates and all that, and he's really struggled this year for sure. Going up against the Tigers, though, they strike out a lot, especially against righties and lefties. It doesn't really matter who's facing him. McKenzie, he's striking out 30% of batters, and in the last 30 days, he's been a lot better against the lefties. 307 weighted OBA, but an ISO of .077, striking out 30.6% of lefties this season. I would assume about 6 of the batters for the Tigers are going to be from the left-handed side. I do think that McKenzie will have a better game today and rack up the strikeouts like he's capable of. And the reality is the Tigers aren't really a team that likes to work counts and walk. They're guys that chase. So I'm looking at McKenzie over 5.5 strikeouts as a little play there. I'm going to put some money on that. I do think McKenzie gets the job done and pitches through 5 innings and maybe even more against the Tigers because the Tigers are just that bad offensively.
There you go. How about you, Kyle? A little value on the menu, maybe some Chipotle tonight, maybe, I don't know, some taco. What kind of taco shops you got out there, Molten Oak County?
We have one good place, Jalapeno, and then they're from San Diego, so it is kind of like bringing Albert Tacos. There's that place, and I do apologize. The landscaper, that's going to be my fault today, so when you hear that, that's me, not Jason today. God, I have to yell at these guys all the time. So there's a few that I like on here. And first of all, thank you, Tariq Skubal, for not pitching a no-hitter. That would have been really bad.
How long did you sweat? For 30 seconds? It was like a huge sweat.
Trust and believe I had it turned on. That was the only thing I was worried about. Like, holy shit, am I going to have to get a tramp stamp and share that picture with everyone? That would have been terrible. So some value plays that I have a little sprinkle on that Reds team total over 4.5 minus 120. I think they can get it done there. No runs first inning. I'm going to add a second one. Tampa Bay and Kansas City. Just a little bit nervous about Minor. Of course, Tampa Bay's been red hot. They did lose yesterday, but I do think the writing's on the wall with Glasnow on the mound there for Tampa Bay for a no-hitter. I like that Padres team total. This was almost an official play for me. I like this one quite a bit. Over 4.5 at minus 105. I'll talk more about that when we get to our official plays as well. And I have a home run prop on Fernando Tatis. All in on the Padres tonight.
All right, and by the way, real quick, before we flip it over to best bets on the Major League Baseball card, just watching this Twins game, you're now sitting in the bottom of the 6th inning, nobody out and a man on first base. You can actually get the Twins right now, team total over 2 at plus 106. So that means, they're down runs. So theoretically, they're still going to be able to get to the 9th inning, even if you don't get those 2 runs right away. Maybe free rolling with a plus money number. It doesn't look bad. So these are some of the instances that I like. Even so, right now, as we watch it live, let's just say you get another base hit here by the Twins, and that number might jump up to, 2 at minus 125 with 2 runners on and nobody out. That's when I'm looking to jump in. So if anything changes here in this game as I watch, that's something to keep an eye on. But I got to say, it's not a bad play if you jumped in right now. If you think the Twins are going to win, what do they have to score? 2 runs, right? So there you go. Why would you take a minus 106 on the Minnesota Twins in a game that, you can get a plus 106 if they have to win? See, there's another thing too. Like, I'm going to take the Twins money line.
They would have to do the same exact thing, right? They would have to get 2 runs. They'd have to do the same exact damn thing to reach the goal. Take the plus number on the same outcome, right? I mean, it only makes sense.
And they don't even have to win the game. They don't even have to win the game. They can lose 4-3. And it's like, hey, I still won my ticket, even though that came down. So always those intricacies to watch out for. Best bets on the Major League Baseball card. Let's slide it down here. And while we watch that, they did get it out. So a man on second base here. So we'll keep it up. Jason, we'll start with you here. Best bets on the card tonight, buddy. Go ahead.
Yep. I'm on the Dodgers at minus 140 in the first 5. Trevor Bauer going up against those Astros. And he's a big blogger. He talks his stuff, and obviously when he found out that the Astros were cheating, he had a lot to say. So I do think he's going to perform at a high level like he always does. But it's not just because of that. It's also because of the numbers. He's been terrific recently. Bauer, he's allowed no earned runs in his last 13.1 innings pitched. Has allowed no more than 4 hits in his last 5 starts as well. And walks have been a little bit higher recently, but I don't think that's going to continue moving forward. Luis Garcia taking the mound for Houston. He's a guy that allows so many extra base hits and home runs. And it feels like he kind of bends but doesn't break. But he's also hasn't faced the Dodgers lineup against righties. So I do think Garcia bends and also breaks against the Dodgers, who will have Betts, Muncy, Smith, Pujols, Lux, Beatty in the lineup. Tons of guys that can do damage, especially with power against Garcia. Turner will be there too. He's not been nearly as good as the start of the season, but he's also a big threat in that lineup as well. So I do like the Dodgers in the first 5 at minus 140. You can take that minus 0.5 in the first 5 and get a little risky there. That's perfectly fine. I just like playing it more safe. So I'm on the money line in case of a tie. I'll just get the push and get the void and move on from there. The other bet, another NL West team, I'm on the Padres, minus 136 in the first 5. Same reason. You can go Padres minus 0.5 in the first 5 if you want to. I'm going for that push in case. Paddock on the mound. This is nuts. In his last 3 starts since coming back from the IL, he's gotten insane run support. The Padres have scored 11 runs, 13 runs, and 16 runs in his last 3 starts. Absolutely ridiculous, and he's looked much better since coming back from that IL. Should do fine against Milwaukee. There's really nobody in that lineup that really concerns you very much in that lineup for the Brewers? They've been one of the worst offenses in the league so far, and it feels like Paddock is finally figuring it out since coming back. And like Kyle said, there's a lot of guys on the Padres that can do damage offensively. He likes Tatis. I think Hosmer is a big play as well. So looking at the Padres, I do think that the Padres will win in the first 5, taking on the money line, but you can definitely take -0.5 and have no worries.
2 on and 1 out now as the pitching coach comes out to the mound here for the Baltimore Orioles, and checking in these live numbers again. Over 2, still sitting at +100. Not even any juice with 2 guys on right now. The over-under in the game total, 4 as it sits right now. I think both of those are pretty decent, but I'm still going to hold off. I want to see what we got going on, because the only reason I'm hesitant a little bit is Cruz is now the guy on first base. Going to take a lot to get him home. Maybe a 3-run home run. Nobody cares about it, but one of those instances to look at. You could probably put 1 as an ace in the hole, but that double play sometimes can creep up. Kyle, best bets and bankers for you tonight. Go ahead.
Well, shit. I mean, I have me and Jason are on the exact same train. The only difference is he's going to play it safe. I don't play it safe. I haven't worn a condom since 1998, for Christ's sake. Okay, let's get this done. So I'm going to take the -0.5 in the first 5 for the Padres. It's now moved to +110. It was +105 when the show started. It's now +110. I'm taking Padres -0.5 in the first 5. You got Lauer on the mound. He's going to get smashed. And Jason brings up a great point with Hosmer. Some of you may think, well, why would I want the lefty on lefty? Well, Hosmer hits lefties better than righties. That's just what he does. And that's why it's nice to have some of those numbers sometimes. You can't just automatically default like, oh, righty versus lefty. It's not always the case. Tatis, I talked about the home run prop. Paddock looked really good in his last start coming back. That Brewers lineup, obviously not scary. Righties, lefties. It could be midgets with one arm. It wouldn't really matter. The Brewers lineup isn't scary. I don't know what else to say here. So I love that. And I also love the Dodgers, -0.5 in the first 5. It was even money earlier today when I got it. It's now -105. Look, bottom line, we love the Dodgers versus righties. They have a beatable righty. Bauer's on the mound. He's looked fantastic. I think he gets it done. There are some lefties in the Houston lineup, that worry you, of course. Tucker, etc. But I like that Dodgers -0.5 in the first 5, -105. Again, the numbers that Jason gave you are fine, and the reward of that is if the game is tied, it is 0-0 or 1-1, you're just going to push and not lose your money. So it's certainly a little riskier this way. That's why the numbers are different. But I always say, scared money don't make money. So that's how I'm rolling tonight.
All right, the longest section we've ever had on best bets on Major League Baseball on the show today. So I'll keep it quick here. I don't have any. So now we can get out of there. I am playing the 3 games, and we'll recap those at the end of the show as well. But let's hit the odds lightning round. Bring on the thunder. Bring on the lightning, because we got a lot of games to hit in about 1 minute. So we'll see what happens. Seattle and Oakland, 9:15, 9:16. Purviance on the mound. Now, looking for Seattle right now, I don't have an official listed pitcher, Jason. 176 is a favorite towards Oakland with a total between 8.5 to 9. Any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Robert Duggar for Seattle. He's been pretty good this year. Only has 1 start in 7 games, so 6 relief appearances as well. But he has an FIP of 3.54, ERA 4.15. And right now the Mariners have the A's number, so I'd be afraid. But I do think the A's can't get swept in the series, right? So look at that factor. You take the A's, and Purviance looks pretty good so far since he came up. So I would look at the A's in this spot. I don't think they got swept against the Mariners. I'd really hope not. So for that factor, I would say the A's here.
There you go. And just keeping another updated line here as we get, I think it's a 2-2 count here. We have a full count here in the Twins game, so some things might be going down right now. Let's get to Texas and the Los Angeles Angels. That's a 4:07 start today, Dunning versus Canning. As I said, I like the Texas lineup today. It's funny because the first 2 to 3 weeks of the show, I was like, I might never bet on Texas because they are wretched, but the lineup is sneaky good here. Don't need a lot of runs in this one. Canning's not a great pitcher. I think they can get to that 4 number here. What are you thinking, Kyle?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I was going to say I have a slight little sprinkle here on the Rangers team. I'm going to make this very quick. Rangers team total. I actually think they have the pitching advantage a little bit today, as crazy as that sounds as well. Give me the Rangers.
All right, Chicago Cubs and the Pittsburgh Pirates today. Williams versus Crow. I've been fading Crow quite a bit here. I still do like Chicago in this game, but not enough to make it a wager. 8.5 is a total. Favorite between 127 to 132 out here, Jason. Are we looking for the Cubs again? It's really hard to back Pittsburgh. It just is.
Both pitchers have not been too great this year. Of course, Williams going up against the Pirates, his former team. again, I do think that both teams can score some runs, and I do like the over here for both teams as well. But I know there's going to be some rain in the forecast. I don't think that's going to affect anything. Just be sure before you put the wager in, check that weather. But yeah, again, I do think that both teams can score some runs. Although the Pirates, their offense really on paper does not look too good, but really anybody could hit off of Williams at this point. And he's kind of been getting a little lucky, especially at the Nationals. His last time out, I do think that he'll have some runs against the Pirates, and do think that this game goes over.
Taking a look here at the next game, Philadelphia Phillies and the Miami Marlins. Yesterday, Alcantara was good. Vinny Velasquez even better, and the bullpen holds it down as the Phillies get a victory yesterday. How about this one? Nola 164 on the road, total of 7. Not officially sure who the pitcher is going to be from Miami here, Kyle.
It's Nick Nieder now.
So how about this?
Out.
You know what? Sometimes I like
Is it Nieder?
Yeah, just came out.
Is it Nieder? Oh, I was just going to say, I wish you would have waited to tell him, because I was going to say, let's go all in blind, baby. Just a blind all in. Texas Hold'em. Let's take the Phillies with Nola against whoever the hell as long as it's not Rogers out there for Miami, I'm good with it. So let's go Phillies and move on to the next game. Lightning round. Let's go.
Yeah, Nieder, 8.33
Yeah,
extra.
Nieder's the
Looks
word.
good, Nieder. Looks good out there.
No, it's Phillies all the way. Whenever the number comes out, figure out a way to creatively bet the Phillies, but it's going to be a wide number, I guarantee it.
A game guaranteed to have little to no runs once again. Colorado and the New York Mets. Marquez versus Stroman, 128. They set the line at 6.5. It should be 2.5. Jason, your thoughts here?
Yeah, probably 6.5 going under on that would be the play here. Stroman looked really good against the Rockies earlier, and Marquez has really kind of racked up the strikeouts a little bit in the last couple of games, and I think he's on the right path as well. So I do agree with the under 6.5, but I can never recommend that.
No, certainly. And watch, by the way, real quick here, Baltimore 1-0. Sano's at the plate, a 2-1 count. Check out this number. It was -1.5, -150. Runners on second and third with 2 outs. So basically you're saying if he gets a base hit, you're cashing that ticket. We'll see what pops up here quickly next. Let's go to Cleveland and Detroit. McKenzie and Urania, 9 is a total. 126 is a slight favorite towards Cleveland. Hard to back Detroit. You're getting these games, Kyle, that I'm giving to you. Some of these, you got to hold your nose if you want the opposite side.
Cleveland was an early front runner to be another play of the day. I like the Indians a lot today. I like them in the first 5 innings, and I like them full time. I think they get it done today. So give me half, give me full, give me Cleveland. And if Sano can hit a home run, I put him on my list earlier. He did? Shut the hell up. Yes, baby. He was on the home run list as well over there on the so
see that live now, you see that live betting that comes in there right now, because I didn't pull the trigger, so I'm not taking any credit, but when you see like 2s come up and 1.5s in the 6th inning, this is what happens in Major League Baseball, and Sano just absolutely crushed that pitch.
He had homered twice off of Lopez in his career, his 4 of 8 lifetime, and you had the wind blowing out there. So yeah, he's on the home run list for those DFS players that I make that list for.
Yeah, and somebody just brought it up as well. The White Sox now with 2 runners on and nobody out in that game. So let's flip off this Twins game. Let me just get a live number. 8.5 as a total in this game. As I said, in the bottom of the 3rd inning, the home team runs is at 5 at +100. So not something I'm really looking to dive into just yet. Minor and Glass now on the mound today. Kansas City, Tampa Bay. Jason, if we look at the total in this game, 7s across the board, and rightfully so. The worst hitting environment in baseball, and I put some McDonald's money on it yesterday. Wah, 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 wah. Heavy favorite towards Tampa Bay. What are you looking at today?
Under 4, if you pay up for the juice, got the under 4 in the first 5. I think that's the play here. I do think Glasnow bounces back from his poor starts. I mean, look, he hasn't been that great in the last maybe 5-6 outings. Let's just put it how it is. He hasn't been great, but I do think that he'll turn it around against the Royals. And Minor, I think he has pretty good numbers against most of these hitters there for the Rays. I think he can do damage there and get a lot of strikeouts as well. So I would agree with Minor over 6.5 strikeouts at -105, and do agree with the under 4 in the first 5. Just got to pay up like around -140, -145 range.
Paddock and Lauer. Lauer, the lefty on the mound for Milwaukee. Keep in mind also, Lauer used to be a pitcher for the San Diego Padres. 8s across the board. Slight favorite towards San Diego in Milwaukee. Kyle, what are you looking at?
Yep, I like the Padres. First 5, I like them full time, and I have a little sprinkle on their team total as well. They should smash the lefty Lauer, and Paddock hasn't been terrible. I think he's one of their better pitchers. He's going to be a really solid number 3 for them. The Padres are going to be a tough out. Behind Snell and Darvish, you got Paddock, who is a legitimate. He would be a number 1 for 2 of the teams we just talked about before. The Tigers for sure. So yeah, give me the Padres in this one.
There you go. So we'll keep moving down. Only a couple games left here on the card for tonight. Bauer and Garcia on the mound. Dodgers versus the Houston Astros. 8.5s across the board. 148 New Jersey here towards the Los Angeles Dodgers. That's the only way I can look here with Bauer on the mound. But I do think those Dodgers bats come to play tonight.
Yep, the Dodgers bats should do their thing. And the only thing, Bauer, he has allowed some ISO power to lefties. So you have Tucker and Alvarez, the two guys you have to watch out in that Astros lineup. But outside that, Bauer should mow down that lineup. And I do think the Dodgers score some runs as well against Garcia, who, really, I think he's allowed to run at least in every single game but one. All you might need is just one run. So I do like the Dodgers in the first 5 there.
All right, last game, San Francisco Giants and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Take a look at some of the lineups here tonight. Both of them look pretty good against their respective pitchers here. And as I always say, that when you look at Merrill Kelly, it can be Minka Kelly on the mound. It doesn't matter. They're getting lit up. 9s across the board here, Kyle, and a slight favorite of 117 at BetCris Offshore towards the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, and I do like the Giants, and I do like him in the first 5 innings. I will say this, the reason it didn't make one of my lists today is Merrill Kelly, as terrible as he is in terms of major league pitchers, 3 of his last 4 starts against the Giants, he's had at least 35 fantasy points. That tells me, okay, he's actually pitched pretty well against this team. The projected lineup, 10 for 30 lifetime. It's a .734 weighted 3-year OPS. It's one of the lower ones on the slate today. So it did give me a little pause, but I definitely lean Giants.
Guy's name is Merrill, too. I mean, come on, parents. Help the kid out in his life.
Your parents just set you up to be a giant. Never mind. I can't. Man,
sometimes you go by your middle name at that point when you get older, usually. So we'll see what happens
just
in
call
these
me
games
kid.
tonight. Exactly. Clear the bases. So let's get out of here but also recap what we have on the board. I don't have an official best bet and banker. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to return back to that. But I will be playing the Texas team total, the Atlanta team total, and the Dodgers team total tonight, Jason. What you got tonight?
Yeah, we're on the Dodgers, -140 in the first 5, and Padres, -136 in the first 5. Again, both are money line plays, so if they are tied, we got to push and we get that void. But if you want to go Kyle's direction, be a little bit more risky, you can make more money doing it that way. And I think we both agree that the Dodgers and the Padres should be able to win by multiple runs in the first 5 innings.
Kyle, what you got tonight? Best bets, bankers, and also some firing on fast food. What do you got?
Tell me it's not more fun not wearing a condom since 1998. Bottom line, it's more fun, Jason. Okay, anyways, pull and pray master. So I got the Padres -0.5 in the first 5 at +105. Dodgers -0.5 in the first 5 at -105. Those are my official plays. Just a little riskier than Jason's. Again, nothing wrong with going Jason's route. That's probably the safer way, but I'm just feeling like a wild child today. Value menu plays here. I got the Reds team total over 4.5 -125. No runs first inning. Tampa Bay, Kansas City, New York, Toronto. Padres team total over 4.5 and a Fernando Tatis home run. Let's go.
And if Kyle doesn't appear on tomorrow's show, it was a really nice run we had with Kyle. We appreciate all his efforts.
Yes.
Always a lot of fun here on the Major League Baseball Show, guys. Thanks for tuning in here on a Wednesday to talk some action. As you know, we'll be back again on Thursday. If you need any more information to be a better baseball bettor, right below there's a link, sbrpicks.com/MLB. We'll be back tomorrow, 2:30 p.m., same time, same place, same bad channel. I'm Donnie Seymour for Jason Radowitz and Kyle Purviance. We are the sportsbookreview.com Major League Baseball team. Good luck on your wagers tonight.